We on?
Yeah.
All right.
Get her an agenda.
Here, I got one right here for you.
Thank you.
Okay. Sam, we ready to roll?
Yes, Sammy is.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for coming. Tonight, which is our June 6th meeting at 5 o'clock. Can we do a roll call?
We'll call roll. Yes, Mr. Crandall?
Here.
Mr. Acting Chairman
Here.
Mahoney?
Here.
Simcoe here. Mr. Genowine will be absent this evening.
All right, we'll stand for the Pledge of Allegiance, please. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Hey, John, why don't we, Zeitler?
Yes.
Why don't we do our ceremonies?
Sure.
In light, so everybody get home and have dinner and
Right.
do what they got to do.
With that, I'll bring Chief Ram up and we're going to start it right now.
Good afternoon.
Evening.
Evening, afternoon. One of our gentlemen that's receiving an award this evening is not here, and then I have to say that Chief Kowalski had something personal come up, and he will not be able to get his award tonight, so I have asked him to let us know when he's available next so that we could get him on the agenda again. So,
Great.
with that, Captain Fry, would you like to come forward, please? This is a first for us, you guys. The National Fire Academy started a new program. It's called the Managing Officer Program. And Aaron has now successfully completed the Managing Officer Program and all the required capstone project. On behalf of the NFA, the National Fire Academy, the enclosed certificate has been forwarded to us for formal presentation. And this is to a dedicated member of our department. So, with further no ado, we'd like to hand you the wonderful-looking Academy certification and a job well done. I mean, it's one of the first programs in the management series for the National Fire Academy, so we got to be very proud of this young man for doing that. So,
All right, Aaron, way to go.
Thanks for doing that, Aaron. Yeah. Looks like
Way
we
to
got
go.
this at a dollar store there in our frame.
Congratulations, Chairman. Congratulations.
In light of that, if there, anybody wanted to, oh, that's right, you're right, we got the promotion. Sorry about that.
So we'll move back to our regular agenda, and as you notice, did anybody sign in for agenda items?
No.
Okay. And then for the zoning department, we have a hearing, and they are scheduled to be held at 6 o'clock, so we're going to hold off on that till 6.
Okay.
Which brings the next item, the road service department.
John, do you mind if I interrupt you just
Sure.
a second? I think we need to approve the minutes.
Yeah.
And
Oh, I'm sorry.
I should have done that before, that's my apology. I make a motion that we approve May 16th regular meeting minutes.
I wasn't present, so I'm going to have to abstain.
Oh, okay. Well, then,
So you may
We
want to
could bump
just
that to
carry
maybe we'll
it
bump
over.
them to the next,
Yeah.
Sure.
move them to the next meeting.
Yeah, let's take
Okay.
it.
Okay. All right.
Okay, then with that.
Sorry.
Good evening. I just have two items for the agenda tonight. Resolution 17061. This is authorization to award bid and enter into contract for our yard waste drop-off site. Our previous 4-year contract will expire in December, and the bids went out and proposal came back.
I'll offer Resolution 17061 to award into a yard waste drop-off contract.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Last item is resolution number 17-067 to advertise for bid for the 2017 household pickup. This will be, pickup will start September 11th, 2017.
I'll offer Resolution 17067, authorization to advertise for household pickup.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
That is all I have. I thank you.
All right, thanks, Rob.
I'm going to bring the fire department up one more time for item number 10, resolution 17065, to revise the background investigation and hiring policy for the fire department. The Chief and I will be discussing this.
If you have any questions about this, what we went with was it's called the National Testing Network, that it opens up our hiring process all across the United States. What happens is a candidate goes on the site and he's able to look on the site to see wherever there's fire department testing going on right now. So say I'm in Columbus and I click in and say I want to look at all the fire departments in Ohio that are testing right now, and our name would pop up, and then they can click on it and see if they meet our criteria, which is what this resolution is about. We made sure we met all the criteria for like the the Pharmacy Board for the state of Ohio. It met the DEA, it met our requirements here in the county, or the township. And also, we've already had 2 people take and test that test and has passed, and I've already got the results. Our results or testing is going to run from June 1st to July 31st, which opens it up for a lot more than just having a one-day test. And the other interesting thing is any of the sites in the United States that has fire service programs like a Texas A&M, an Oklahoma State, a Maryland, they're also in line with this national testing network. So it's going to hopefully open up our horizons to more people that would be interested in becoming a firefighter here. So
Very nice.
that's what the resolution is. It's to revise. We worked with Susan, with Janet, and with Mr. Zeitler to make sure it met. We had some things from the trustees that needed to be in there, and we made sure it matched everything, and we were able to actually get it up June 1st. So.
All right. I like it.
I think we got the, use the one on here. The one we got up there.
That's the resolution for Lieutenant.
Yeah.
Oh, now we're...
Yeah, that's
Yeah, now we're out,
17065.
Okay, you had me thinking about that.
I'll offer Resolution 17065, hiring policy for the fire department.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Sure.
Thank you, guys. I've
Yeah,
been
good work.
working on this for quite a while.
Hey, Chris, is that something like you do on your Facebook with like showing different cities that are hiring? Is that,
That's one of the,
Yeah.
that's one of them that Chicago Firewire picks up.
Yeah, nice.
On
Yeah.
and blasts it out everywhere so that
Yeah.
people know that,
that's great.
they're out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we also, in the hiring process, we're going to accept what's called the firefighter mile for our physical agility test, and that's also a nationwide test that's performed by someone else, not us. So we don't have to have the overtime to have our own people do the test, and actually both gentlemen that I seen the scores from today have already passed the firefighter mile. So it's really nice how it reads everything out, their scores and everything for us. I have one other resolution. It's 17-057. This is a resolution to promote Craig Kapersky to lieutenant. As we know, Chief Kowalski retired. I moved up to Chief Kowalski's deputy chief, and I moved up from lieutenant, and Craig finished number 1 on our test, and he did extremely well. So 17-057 to promote Craig Kapersky.
I'll move Resolution 17057 to promote Craig Kowalski.
Kapersky. There you go.
To lieutenant.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Yeah, next.
Is he here tonight?
Yes, actually, Craig is in the back. We have his pinning.
Congrats.
We have his pinning plan for. We have his pinning and his helmet presentation planned for next trustees meeting. I have a couple other real quick things that are not on the agenda. With the promotion of Craig, it opened a full-time position that I'd already gotten approval from the board to hire. I hired Matt Murray, who's out of Oregon. He will be starting on the 12th as a full-time firefighter paramedic. And also an update on the part-time list. We had 7 people go through our background and drug and nicotine. 6 have passed. I'm waiting on the 7th, so that'll bring us up to our maximum of 10 that we're allowed to have. So I'm hoping to start a recruit school. Once Matt's done, we'll be able to get the part-time guys in and get that list back up to where it needs to be. So unless anybody has any other questions, that's all I have.
Thanks for getting on that so fast, too.
Sure.
Just to say a few more comments about the testing procedures, I really think this will open up the process to more applicants, a larger pool of people to choose from for firefighters, which will help us. And one of the nice things is, as the chief said, you can take this test all across the United States, where before they'd have to drive up to here to take the test, and that would limit a lot of people, would have to take a whole day off or whatever to take the test. So I'm really pleased with working with the fire department, and I have to give Susan credit while she was still here for putting this all together. Okay, the next item is the police department, and he has a resolution once again for hiring people.
Good evening. I have just one item here, and it's Resolution 17062, seeking authorization to establish an eligibility list for the hiring of police officers. I believe you got a list of the candidates. These candidates passed both the written test in NTN, which we've been using for a few years now, and also the physical fitness test.
I'll offer Resolution 17062 to establish an eligibility list. Sorry about that. Say that 5 times, eligibility list. For hiring our police officers.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
And that's all I have. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Chief.
Under the administrator, I have a resolution 17060. It's to authorize the township administrator, myself, to enter into a contract with Michael Jones as our public information officer services. Once again, it's for 1 year with a 6-month option to renewal, and it's at the same rate as it's been for the last couple of years.
I'll gladly offer Resolution 17062 authorizing Township Administrator to offer a contract with Mike Jones.
Second.
Call in roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes. My next item is just an information.
Before you move on, I'd like to thank, Mike's also taken over the annual report that we initiated 2 years ago. He's added that to his responsibilities. We appreciate that, Mike.
Okay, my next item is just a notification. July 4th this year falls on our regular township meeting, Tuesday meeting date, and as in our policy that we passed at the start of the year, if a holiday falls on our regular day, we will move the regular meeting to the next day, which will be July 5th. So I'm just doing this as an information so everybody knows that the meeting in July will actually be July 5th, a Wednesday. And then my last item is a discussion on the Sylvania Library Sidewalk Project. As you remember, probably 2 months ago, the township committed money to this sidewalk project for the library, Sylvania schools, ourselves, and the city of Sylvania. Because of some cost increases and overruns on that project in the bidding, we have been asked to contribute more to that project. And at this point, I'll let Trustee Crandall discuss it, and then if we want to do anything, we can. If not, we can wait.
Yeah, I think we had a request from the county engineers about 3 or 4 weeks ago to increase our share. And he recommended all the partners. There's numerous partners involved in this project. We have the smallest increase. The largest increase actually is the county engineer. And they put it back out for quotes and are ready to award it. The other alternatives are to phase the project over a number of years. It's a pretty small project. I personally don't think that's a good idea. We had quite a discussion about the need for us to participate. I wasn't too excited. I mean, I felt there was enough partners. But I think now that we've decided to participate, I think we should increase our share, and they've asked us to increase from $5,000 to $7,150. So I'll make a motion to approve our share, provided the other partners also pick up their increased share.
Second.
Yeah, we'll call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
You have any questions?
No, I will prepare that and notify them
Thanks
of our increase.
for digging into that, John Crandall.
No problem.
Mr. Simco, do you have anything to discuss?
No, vacant. Nothing there.
No, I know, I just thought maybe somebody might pop that. Is there any, anybody signed in for non-agenda items? Nope. Okay, with that, then I think we need to talk about the executive session then.
I'll make a motion to go in executive session for personnel compensation for all non-union employees.
At 5:17.
Oh, I'm sorry.
5:17.
Thank you.
We'll call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
If, we will be back out though at 6 o'clock, right?
Yes, before.
We're not
But then,
All right, welcome back, and we're back from our executive session at 6 o'clock. You make a motion on that, David?
yeah. John, you want to say it?
Let's see. We need a motion to come out of executive session.
Yep.
At 6 o'clock. You made the motion?
Yes.
John, you seconded it?
Second?
Okay. Call the roll. Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes. And then I'll offer Resolution 17-066, a resolution to authorize rates for non-union personnel for...
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Second?
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Okay, now going back to our regular meeting, we had I'll turn it over to Darrell for the... Good evening.
Hey, Dave, hey, Sammy, do you mind if sorry to interrupt there. Can I get that agenda? Just, do you mind? Just Scott's there.
Oh, yeah.
Just so I know there's a public hearing.
There you go.
Okay, thanks.
Sammy, if you don't mind scrolling down to the site plan, that should be towards the end of my staff report. No, keep going. Try the next one. I think that's a large one. Yeah, that's a good one. Thank you. We have before us tonight a zone change request for the property at 7464 Sylvania Avenue, part of it. The request is for a change in zoning from A3 agriculture to R3 residential. It's approximately the northern half of the parcel at 7464 Sylvania, and it's 500 feet north. It's on King Road, about 500 feet north of Sylvania Avenue. It's an undeveloped lot measuring 3.15 acres. The frontage is only on King Road, so if the zone change is approved, a lot split will be recorded and the new parcel will have a King Road address. The applicant is requesting the zone change for the purpose of developing a senior inpatient psychiatric care hospital on the site. Hospital is a conditional use in an R3 district, and the applicant did receive approval for that conditional use from the Board of Zoning Appeals at their May 1st meeting, and that approval is contingent upon the zone change approval. The Township Land Use Plan recommends transitional uses for this area of the township and specifies R3 as a suitable transitional zone district. And the purpose of transitional zoning or uses is to serve as a buffer between the more intense commercial or industrial uses and the less intense residential uses, particularly single-family. In this case, there's single-family to the east and the recently approved senior apartments that'll be coming into the north. And then there's commercial to the west across the street and expected commercial to the south of this property. The proposed senior hospital will be one-story, 23 beds, and measuring 13,290 square feet. The applicant is providing 50 parking spaces with an additional 19 deferred for future use if necessary. And the size and use of the building only requires 23 spaces, so they're well above what zoning requires as far as parking. The proposed project meets or exceeds the setback requirements, including a 100-foot conservation easement on the rear of the parcel. And that is right there on the eastern part of the parcel. Lucas County Plan Commission and the Township Zoning Commission unanimously recommended approval of the zone change, and zoning staff recommends approval subject to the 42 conditions presented in the Lucas County Plan Commission staff report of April 26, 2017. You've received the staff reports and other materials, and if you have any questions, I can answer them, and Troy Barman with Lewandowski Engineers is here as well.
Troy. I have a question, and I know just for clarification, do we, if, let's say this project didn't happen and we now have an R3 zone change, what are the things that could go in there?
As far as permitted uses for an R3, it is only single-family, two-family, and multifamily, and public uses such as utilities. Now, as far as conditional uses that could go in, and these would have to be approved by the Board of Zoning Appeals, there's daycare facility, funeral home, golf course, hospital, non-commercial recreational facility, public service facility, residential care facility, self-storage, semi-public use such as a place of worship, telecommunication tower.
Okay.
Neil, let me interrupt 1 minute.
Sure.
We're in the public hearing, and I think we meant to open up the public hearing, and Darrell is...
Thank you.
Part of the testimony that you've been giving has been part of the public hearing, and we want to let the record reflect that we did indeed open it up. We probably weren't as clear on that as we should be, but this is part of the public hearing, and we're in that right now.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pointing that out.
So keep on going, I would just...
But that was the end of the list.
Okay.
Anybody in the public that would like to speak this evening? Troy?
Troy Barman with Lewandowski Engineers, representing Assurance Health. Just here to answer any questions that you may have.
Troy, I've got a question on one of the comments by the Plan Commission is that the frontage green belt, they called it, I think it's your 15-foot landscaping plan along King Road, be extended the entire length of the parking lot. It's kind of vague to me exactly what that means, but I think it means now, I don't know if this makes sense to you, but, do you go to this point, which you're building, or do you go to the point if these are needed in the future?
Yeah, so it's all going to be basically, we are putting our detention in front of the parking lot, between the parking lot and the road.
I realize that.
So it's all going to be a green area. I'm not quite sure if your code qualifies detention areas as landscaping also or not.
Well,
But-
I
wait,
got
wait.
two questions there. If you look at your 15-foot strip, it goes down your side slope into the detention pond. I didn't scale it.
Yeah, currently-
I'm guessing maybe a third of it's level, and then two-thirds of it goes down the side slope.
Mhm.
I think you'll probably submit a landscaping
Correct.
plan to us, but I said to Darrell, I wouldn't consider rock landscaping, but you could rock the side slope.
No, it'll all be grass.
Yeah,
None of it will be rock.
or I think landscaping to me means.
Trees and,
Yeah, well, I'm sure you'll work that
Yeah.
out. Then my other question was, when their comment said, and I guess you've agreed to it, to go to the parking lot, well, there's the original parking lot, and then there's additional spaces in case they're needed.
Mhm.
So I guess, in my mind, I'd like to see that landscaping go in case the additional parking.
correct, so it doesn't have to be removed later
You don't
on.
have to go back and readjust it. I think the intent is to screen the parking area along King Road.
Correct.
I guess I just wanted to bring it up and see if you agreed with that.
Yes,
And Darrell.
and we'll work with Darrell to get it
Yeah.
taken care of, and
Okay. And then they had a comment, I think it's 29, about a fence along the residential side.
that is no longer required because we are an R3 conditional use.
Yeah, see, I don't read it. That Darrell said, oh, that's not, why would, let me get the comment, let me find, oh, it's 39. Comment 39 says, the revised landscaping plan provides a 6-foot privacy fence along the eastern line, which abuts the platted residential subdivision. And
Yeah,
there's, Ken, you got the 1 acre parcel in there. It looks to me like, here's your 1 acre parcel up to here. So I think that requirement says you need a fence to your north property line, I think. I just want to see if you have the same interpretation. There's a lot of cover there with that.
The
landscape.
39 was, it was a recommendation to put up a fence, and in lieu of that, we did an appropriate landscape buffer. That's why we had the 100-foot conservation easement, was so we didn't have to do that fence. Basically, there was woods back there right now, there's woods on the other side of that property line,
I'm familiar with this.
and to put a fence up in the middle of that would be, we just thought it'd be a better use just to put a 100-foot conservation easement and no fence.
And that's what Darrell said, but then you're not, condition 39 doesn't say it was waived. You follow me?
Condition 39
Your table shows these are the required, and this is what you're proposing. Now, maybe there was a discussion with staff or something.
Yeah, I think it's the last line on there, about if existing mature vegetation is removed, then we'd fence it, but we're gonna leave the existing vegetation up, in lieu of putting up the fence. And that's the conversations we've had with Darrell and, with other reviewing agencies up to this point,
Okay.
was to leave that 100-foot. That did come up, that it's a conservation easement. We aren't clearing the brush, we are not doing, we're gonna leave it like it is, we're not gonna grade it.
The previous one to the north, I think you had a 30-foot buffer area, Ken, I don't quite, or maybe it was 30.
Yes, 30 foot to the east, which the neighbors had an issue with.
After the cover was gone in the winter, it was pretty open.
Right. But then the one to the north did have a 100-foot one along the north property
Yes.
line, which it seems like the neighbors to the north of that were happy with the 100-foot.
Yeah, that was added at this meeting.
Yeah. So it seemed like
I just wanted to
they were good with the 100-foot
We
buffer.
have that one residential lot, the natural cover's not there. Put in 2 or 3 evergreens or something to buffer them.
Mhm.
The 1 acre buffers most of the parcel.
Right.
That's the only question I have. Do you have any?
Carol, it looks like Caroline might have something to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
Excuse me if you guys all know this stuff. Perhaps you discussed it at some previous meetings. This is a psychiatric hospital, right? How many, and you say 23?
23 beds.
23 beds. What's the staffing going to be, per shift?
I know I saw that information.
I think it was 16, because we use that to do the traffic generation.
Okay.
16 cars leaving, 16 cars coming out during the
Okay.
change.
So the people that are patients there probably won't have cars there.
Correct.
Correct.
Average age is 83 of the patients that are in there, the patients that they serve.
Okay. And there would be some visitation, I presume? I mean, what level of psychiatric is this?
It's whatever level is needed for the population, 83, give or take. There is visitation hours, visitation times, but they said in there, this is going to be, when this one opens, it will be their fifth system like this, and they're all packaged the same way. They said they will get a whole lot of visitation in there.
Okay, so you're going to have 16 on the shift, and, I don't know, but you're going to have 52 parking spaces. Do you really need that many parking spaces?
During the shift, like I said, this is their fifth development. And from their perspective, that's what they've needed before. Like I said, they do have some optional additional ones, but they don't want to build those now because they don't think they need those.
Well, what I'm looking at is the aesthetic of the whole property and so much asphalt, type thing. You said that there's going to be some kind of buffer. I mean, the one to the north that's been cleared, I mean, they went in there and they practically clear-cut that, which is kind of, Sylvania's Tree City. This is kind of devastating to the landscape to just go in and clear-cut a place like that. Are you going to clear-cut this?
No. What we're doing is, in the back, there's going to be the 100-foot conservation easement. We don't touch anything in there. Not the underbrush, not the trees. It's 100 foot that stays like it is. The issue they got into with the development to the north of us is there's only 30 foot. So by the time you get down to 30 foot, it's not a whole lot of mature trees left. 100 foot leaves a lot of mature trees. The other thing with this development, the back side of our building looks more like a residential facility. There's going to be 2 security lights on the back, and then some windows. There's not going to be, there's no deliveries in the back of the building. All the deliveries are to the front or to the side. So it is going to make a really nice buffer in the back.
How about along King Road?
On King Road, we are going to have that, the detention pine in front, so there's going to be some grass. And the parking lot is going to be set back a little ways.
Are you going to leave any trees along King Road?
Probably.
Because I mean, there's a lot of nice hardwood trees there, and usually what you do is you come in and you plant pines. Well, pines don't last very long. I mean, 15 years and they're. I just really would encourage you to think about leaving some hardwoods or replanting some appropriate hardwood trees, so that it keeps a nicer look. You've got residential condos and so forth around there, rather than just clear cutting the place. Just a suggestion.
Hey, I have a couple questions here, Troy. The zoning commission, I'm surprised they didn't ask for a PUD on this. And I'm not against the project, but is there some guarantees that you could tie down?
I think that we didn't qualify as a PUD for a hospital. Because isn't that what we want for first?
Originally, they were going for a C2 PUD, and on the advice of the Lucas County Plan Commission staff, that was when they went for an R3 instead. Feeling that met the transitional zoning better than the C2. PUD. You know, and really this, as far as like open space,
I guess my thought, Troy, is I've seen projects like this where they come in with an R3 and come back and change, and it's not this nice project that you have on the board anymore.
yeah, if it were a PUD, it would be required to have 15% open space. They've got, this plan has 31. So it's double what a PUD would be
understand,
required to
yeah.
have.
But you can still,
The maximum coverage of buildings and pavement on a PUD is 40, and they're at 38 with this plan. So again, they're better than what the PUD
Okay.
requirement is, so I
but
mean,
they could agree to submit a PUD plan, couldn't they, Darrell?
I'm sorry?
Couldn't they agree to submit a PUD plan? I think that's.
They'd have to go back
They'd
down
have to
the
go
county,
back
start
through-
over.
At the
But
very
that won't
beginning.
But that won't solve your problem, because they have the zoning. And they went to our zoning board of appeals, I think.
And we got the conditional use from the zoning, from
Right.
the BZA.
Yeah, no, that's what I mean. And so, but let's say your project doesn't go. You still got the R3 zoning there.
Well, you got the BZA that approved it, so BZA is going to keep it tightened down.
No, but what I'm saying is, you're trying to avoid somebody else coming in and doing R3. That wouldn't solve,
Right.
I don't think that would solve that. You're worried about a change in use, you're not opposed.
I'm not opposed to the project at all.
And I don't think that would solve it.
And Mr. Crandall, regarding that item 39, that was a recommendation from the Plan Commission staff prior to the Plan Commission meeting. And so since then is when they've offered the 100-foot conservation easement in lieu of the fencing.
Well, that can be
So-
worked out with the site plan. I'm okay.
Right. So, I mean,
I just don't want the property owner to come in and say, I thought I got a fence and I didn't get it.
so the trustees can approve this zone change with, I mean, my recommendation was with these 42 recommendations from the Plan Commission report, but, I mean, obviously, this board could eliminate any of those that they choose, or, I suppose, add something, should you choose.
No, I think we're.
Is that your plan, Troy? Is that the plan? Could we just tighten the zone change up to keep that plan? That's the plan that they're going to use?
Yeah, that is the plan
That
that
is
we're
the-
gonna use.
I know that, but I'm just saying, if the doctor's office decides they don't want to build in Toledo, now they've got a piece of R3 property that, we had that issue on Percentum years ago. It came in as an R3, they were single family, then we had a 3-story building there. I'm not against the project, I just want to button down, I just want to tighten up this site plan, so that's the site plan that we're approving tonight, that if changed.
See, I think we're okay there. I think
Do you?
what really
Okay.
What really bothers you is if the hospital's not built. That's what bothers you, and I don't know a way of solving that.
So if the hospital's not built, then the second plan for R3 would have to follow that site plan or come back to,
No,
Right, if you approve this zone change and they don't go ahead with the project, then the next party that would come along would have to go through project plan review or possibly a conditional use, depending on what
Okay.
they're going for.
okay,
Or maybe a zone change if they were going to something else, but,
unless they're going to put single-family homes in or something like
Right.
that, that's already approved. Okay. I guess the second question I have, Troy, there's just two of us here, sorry, we had a last-minute cancellation here, but there's only two. Do you feel like comfortable having us vote tonight with two of us? Because if it's a 1-1, it's zero. And I'm sorry to lay that on you so fast.
Yeah, I mean, we're comfortable, this is our fourth meeting.
Yeah, I mean, I don't mean to lay that on you like I am, but I just, it is what it is, sorry. It is what it is.
To give you just a quick background on the first BZA meeting, we got beat up pretty good by the neighbors because we didn't have a 100-foot conservation easement in there. And we got a complete no vote at the first BZA meeting.
Excuse me, that was when they were still looking at a C2 PUD.
Right.
So a lot of the requirements were
Okay.
different.
So since then, we changed it, put in the 100-foot conservation easement. At Plan Commission, we didn't have any neighbors come to the meeting or speak. We were unanimously approved. At the zoning, unanimously approved. Again, nobody came up and spoke out from the neighborhood. The BZA, same thing, unanimous. Nobody came up and spoke out from the neighborhood. So we believe that, after the first meeting with all the neighbors there, I was expecting to see more neighbors coming out. I believe that with the 100-foot conservation easement saying we're not touching it, the neighborhood is in acceptance of what we plan on doing.
Well, I guess we'll vote.
Well, we should
Is
close
there
it.
anyone else that?
Oh, is there anybody else?
Anyone else that would like to speak? Anyone else that would like to speak? No, ma'am? Okay.
Now we'll close the public hearing.
Now we'll close the
Sorry.
public hearing, yeah.
I'll move to close the public hearing.
Okay. Mr. Mahoney, you second?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Okay, and then we have resolution.
I'll offer resolution 17063 to approve
I think it's 064, isn't it?
the, I thought it was 06.
Oh, there it is.
6-3.
Okay,
063,
okay, yes.
to approve the recommendation of our zoning commission and zoning board of appeals.
Second?
Yeah, call the roll. Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Dave? Yes.
Thought I tortured Troy just a second.
And then I have one more,
You're welcome. Good luck with the project.
I have one more resolution, that's 17064, authorization of abatement of property at 6727 Monarch Drive for high grass violation.
I'll offer resolution 17064, authorization of abatement of property at Monarch Drive.
Second.
Mr. Crandall?
Yes.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Thank you.
And with that being said, I will call,
I think we're done with
Yeah.
business, right, John? We're done with all the,
I'd like to,
Go ahead.
please.
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:25.
Second.
Mr. Mahoney?
Yes.
Yes.
All righty. Yeah, sorry.